think we are live already.
Yep.
Hi, Philipp. Nice to
Hi,
see you.
Radek.
Perfect. I will start with short introductions. Today with me is Doctor PhD Philipp Baumann-Sury from UBS, um, and PhD wannabe, uh, never finished. Maybe AI will help me. Radek Zaleski, senior partner at Netguru. And today we are trying to understand how we can become cyborgs and to do a design process that is AI powered or augmented with AI. And my first question is, I ask this question everyone. I recently asked this question on LinkedIn. Are you, Philip, already out of your job? Is AI already, augmented you so much that you're already thinking that you are not needed, or is it too early for that?
It definitely still is too early for that. However, I actually wish that AI would do more of my job. Because when we were thinking about, how to introduce AI into the design process on a very generic level, and when I was thinking about why did I become a UX researcher, then it's really two reasons. Number one reason is listening to users, and the second reason is helping junior researchers. Both are very rewarding activities for me. And in my day job, I have tons of activities that are not directly related to these two activities at all. They are detractors. And if
Mhm.
AI helps me to get rid of those detractors, well, even better. So, yeah, I think it could be hugely beneficial.
So, like, if you would say 30% of your job can be right now augmented via AI, or maybe 50%, or is it too early to try to measure this?
Um, I'm not sure what kind of percentage it could be. So I will basically dodge the question and not give you a percentage.
Mhm.
However, when I look at the literature that has been published in the last 12 months, there have been two approaches. One approach said, well, in the future, in our design field, we basically will just have UX researchers sort of collecting the requirements, and once they set the requirements, AI will do the design. So no UX designers needed anymore. All it
Mhm.
takes is researchers. On the other hand, if you think about what AI truly does, then you come to the conclusion that AI is great at pattern detection and
Yeah.
coming with summaries and conclusions. And
All
now,
right.
guess what a UX researcher is doing? It's truly pattern detection and coming to conclusions. So maybe this wheel will spin into the exactly opposite direction, and we will one day wake up in a world where no UX researchers are needed anymore. All it takes is the UX designers, who are still the truly creative
Mhm.
people, to collect the information that
Mhm.
AI presents to them and then come up with the designs in an AI assisted manner.
So it's interesting you've mentioned, you used the word truly creative people. With AI, it becomes a tricky thing, right? So I thought about myself as a, truly creative person, obviously, right? I'm a consultant, I'm a great marketer, great advisor. I have to be creative. But right now I'm using AI heavily in my daily work. And what I'm seeing that my, I might be creative, but also AI is super creative whenever I'm using AI to, for example, read the notes from my conversations, like let's say with you, and ask AI, hey, what was the what have you heard? What was the tone of voice, or what kind of emotions you've heard? Could you provide me your creative ideas how I could leverage those emotions into further work? And the results are very, very interesting. So my question here will be, how does it impact us as creatives? Can we say we are still creatives if we share the workload with AI, or maybe AI is the creative and we are only using the tool properly and it's pretty boring?
Yes, I think we can still be creative, but in different ways. Um, Let me give you an example. I'm a UX researcher by trade, and I'm definitely not a UX designer who has been building web shops, for example, to purchase the latest smartphone
Yeah.
for years and years. So I'm really bad at this. All I can do is the research associated with it. However, if I am a researcher, not really experienced at designing web shops, and I had AI to do the job for me, then I could be actually more creative with AI than if I tried to solve it myself. So, depending on where you are coming from and where your skills are, um, you are not that creative in terms of the amount of work you do, but on the surface, you will actually look like the more creative human being. However, that's just one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that slowly but surely, AI will take over all the, let's say, less creative jobs, in terms of that an existing solution has been developed over and over again, and basically you are just replicating an existing solution, meaning that this will leave the truly hard problems for human beings still to solve. And when we look at the current issues we have with generative AI, then we do know that it's good at replicating what it has learned from training material, but
Mhm.
it's not truly good at coming up with uniquely new solutions. And if you combine this bit with the bit I previously said, that the truly hard problems will still be left to human beings, then I can see us as a field developing into a reality where experts are needed to advance the truly difficult topics, and everything else will be left to AI.
So let's presume this is the future that is going to happen. Let's presume that the work of so-called creatives will be done as you are describing here. My question would be, what kind of system, or should we create a system to leverage AI? How we could or should uh, build the processes around this new magnificent tool? And the questions I have, for example, are about like debugging why something happened or why something is not happening, or maybe logic, like why I should follow this recommendation, and then maybe the authorship, ownership of the ideas, like can I sign this off as my idea? When does it happen? And I can imagine that in creative space, in UX research space, this can be ethically challenging, right? If you're using AI but you're not disclosing your full process, this there might be problems.
Mhm. Um, I agree. The problem is, what data was the AI trained with? And I am sure that the legal battles, they will still be fought. For us as creatives, I predict that it will become, less important on who exactly had an idea. As long as it is shared with everybody else, it does not really matter if it was developed by a human being or an AI, or a human being in combination with the AI. Um, I do not see a big problem there. Obviously, the much bigger question will be, who provided all the resources in terms of human brain power and also AI. So, for example, if we look back at Steve Jobs, who had a big influence on Apple, and he is still today the face of the iPhone, for example, then we all know here in this room that Steve Jobs did not do it alone. So
Right.
we still attribute everything to him. So everybody else who was in the process sort of is invisible. And I predict that the same will happen to the question you just asked. Basically, AI will suffer the same fate as the human beings who are on a design project. They will be in the background, and
Mhm.
just some certain figure will be the front man or the front woman who is basically driving it all.
The AI tamer, the person
Yeah,
who
maybe?
unleashed the whole value, right, of the
Right.
whole thing. But so this comes to a question about implementing the AI into the workflows, and for me, it is very interesting to hear it from you as you're part of a huge organization. So how I often think about the AI is that some organization aggregated a lot of human knowledge that was out there online somewhere in some resources, aggregated this knowledge, put machines to reread and rethink this knowledge to create those models. And right now we are all as organizations are using this human knowledge to our advantage. Right now, as a big organization, you are you might be worried about the IP rights, about having access to the creative work of some other people, or or be worried that the AI might be shipping you the ideas that are already done by someone else. Do you think about those issues, or is it not yet the concern?
Um, for me, it's not a big concern yet because I am just taking baby steps with AI on the one hand. On the other hand, please do not forget that our most important AI models we have today, they are open source and you can train them with your own data. And when you started to build up your question, you talked about aggregated data. um, I would sort of object to this specific term and say there are so many organizations on this world who have just collected data, but they have
Mhm.
not truly aggregated it yet. Now, if you have this huge data pool, many companies on this world have so called data lakes. And, with a data lake and sophisticated analysis methods, a data scientist can already do many great things. But if you have this existing data pool or data lake or whatever you want to call it, and you want to train your very own AI model, then we are looking at something that is both very unique to you.
Mhm.
It generates a huge advantage in terms of what you learn about yourself, something you previously did not know. And it may also give you the competitive advantage because, unlike the scenario that you previously painted, it's not so easy to replicate.
Mhm. And regarding those, big organization objections, or maybe things that are might be wondering, I was thinking around how potentially AI could be used in the UX research, or in creating the user experiences. And I was thinking it is pretty possible potentially that if you tell AI, for example, please optimize for conversion, or please AI make sure that this cohort is heavily optimized, never churns, whatever the task might be, right? And by the reasoning, the AI comes to the, of course, clear solution that is a gray pattern or a dark pattern, or not yet discovered dark pattern, right? We don't know this is yet dark pattern, but it, for example, creates something that keeps the people engaged, but it's not great for them. And then if you're going to use it, who is responsible for it? Can you blame AI, or do you take the blame, or how how you implement these issues, ethical issues, into your work process with AI?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Actually, there are several questions in your question, so I need to split it
Of
into
course.
various bits. So the first question was, how do we implement AI into the design process? And as I previously said, well, AI is great at pattern detection. So when it comes to UX research, a huge boon would be for me that AI takes over the transcription of what was said during a client need interview, for example. Because with the transcript, I do not have to do the manual notes myself. I do not have to throw sticky notes on some
Right.
form of whiteboard. I originally started in 2001, where we still had videotapes that we actually looked at again after the test. So this will be a huge time saver. And I guess by now everybody has played around with ChatGPT. I did so myself in my own time last summer when I was analyzing a pet shop. Um, and it's very good at condensing information. So
Mhm.
this will be a huge boost. Now, when it comes to UX design, pattern detection will also play a part here because every company, be it either very small or very big, has some sort of design system that they usually adhere to, and it you can actually use AI, or I predict you can use AI to see how much does a specific solution deviate from the design patterns that you actually have in place. So, even I, as a simple UX researcher, I may eventually be able to do a very quick check on, does a specific the interaction pattern meet our standards that we have in our design system. So that's that. Now, the second question is about dark patterns. And there, I would tell you, well, Radek, the problem is not very new. If you dive into behavioral economics, the dark patterns are already there. Like, so, for example, some UX designers who apparently did, I forgot what company it was, but they basically designed a hair onto their
Yeah.
user interface. So people were
Yeah.
tempted to touch their phone and remove the hair. I mean,
Yeah.
this clearly is a dark pattern and it exists today. And it's very clear that those practices are already shunned in our design community. And I am very confident that a user who has been ever confronted with such a dark pattern will not return to that company again. And there we, have a very clear answer. Basically, a company already today is liable for their dark patterns, and in certain jurisdictions, they are heavily reliable for that. So it will not really change, no matter if a human designer implements a dark pattern or an AI does. I think the bigger question than the question if we use AI, yes or no, is the question, what kind of design system do we have, and what is permissible within this design system, or rather not. And in combination with UX research, where you constantly verify if the design system and the design patterns that come out of it live up to their goal, I guess this is how you combat dark patterns. And AI may even help you doing so.
I applaud your optimism. As a pessimist, I might believe that if you have actors that are overly zealous about achieving certain KPIs or certain business outcomes, they might try to tell the AI, like, let's do this, let's achieve the goal. How are we going to get there? And I believe that sometimes it might mean that the new creative so-called gray or dark patterns that we do not know yet emerge, right? And I think that will be interesting, because usually we know a dark pattern after some time, right? Sometimes it's not obviously understandable that something is not in the favor of end users. And sometimes there are those gray patterns, right? Like, is using notifications to keep your attention, like good or bad, how often, which notifications is, the gray area. And I'm thinking like if AI will be helpful here, right, for the end users, for ethical designers, I think for sure. But for, I would say, unethical designers, it might speed up the creation of things that are not great, right? Great for business maybe, but not.
Well, I agree with you that it will speed up the design process of dark patterns, but I don't believe that it will be sustainable business. I guess everybody who is a designer this day believes that good intentions create good business, meaning sustainable business, because it's user-centric business. And if you employ dark patterns in your business, be it AI assisted or not, you're not user centric anymore. You are company centric. And I do not believe this is sustainable in the long run. I'm definitely pro good intentions and good business.
Thank you. That's really nice of you. I would also like to thank you, the AI, for being such a nice being, I hope. And I think that yeah, let's keep fingers crossed. Thank you for this conversation, Philip. I think the time is up. I'm taking a look at the questions. I don't see questions. Only comment by Alina that we are moving towards illegalizing dark patterns by legislation. That's cool. That would be great to see. Thanks, Alina, for mentioning this. And again, thank you, Philip. And wrapping up, I would like to thank you all for being here. That was the last talk today. Hope you enjoyed it. And please be informed that the Disruption Forum Engineering Horizons, April 23rd, this year we'll be talking not about the design, but about the engineering. We have confirmed speakers from MasterCard, Talabat, Kilo Health, Bubble, exciting companies, exciting speakers. If you're into AI, into engineering and engineering at all, please come. Thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Bye. It was Disruption Forum by Netguru.
Bye.